We all wonder what comes next. When our time on this beautiful spinning globe is over, what happens to the part of us that thinks, feels, and remembers? Many believe that death is a final door, a complete separation from the world we know and love. But what if it isn't? What if the connection to our physical lives, to the sights and sounds and tastes of Earth, doesn't just switch off? The truth may be that the thread connecting us to this world is not so easily cut. This connection is woven from the powerful strands of our desires, our longings, and our deepest cravings. These forces, born from our time here, can follow us long after our bodies have returned to the dust from which they came. Our journey through life is a journey of experience. We learn to want things. We crave the warmth of the sun, the comfort of a good meal, the embrace of a loved one. These desires are not just fleeting thoughts. They become a fundamental part of who we are. They are the engine that drives our actions, shaping our days and defining our personalities. When we leave this world, we don't simply leave behind a collection of memories. We carry with us the very energy of these wants, the momentum of a lifetime of seeking and wishing. This energy doesn't just disappear. It forms a bridge between the life we have just left and the existence that is waiting for us, creating a continuation of our journey. Think of it like a song that gets stuck in your head. Even when the music stops playing, the melody continues to echo in your mind. You can still feel the rhythm, hear the notes, and experience the emotion of the song. Our earthly cravings are like that powerful, unforgettable melody. They imprint themselves upon our very essence, upon the core of our being that we call the spirit or the ego. So when the physical instruments of our body stop playing, the song of our desires keeps going. It is this lingering music that keeps us turned toward the world we have just left, unable to immediately embrace the new reality that lies before us. The idea that our connection continues is not meant to be frightening. Instead, it is a profound testament to the power of our experiences here on Earth. It means that everything we do, everything we feel, and everything we desire has significance. It matters. It shapes not only our life but also our afterlife. Understanding this unbroken thread helps us see our time here in a new light. It encourages us to become more aware of our desires, to understand where they come from, and to consider which ones truly serve our deepest purpose. For it is in understanding our cravings that we begin to understand the journey that awaits us all beyond the horizon of death. To truly understand our journey after we leave this world, we must first understand the nature of our desires. They are not all the same. They flow from different sources within us, like streams emptying into the great river of our life. We can think of these as three main streams of craving. The first flows directly from our physical body. These are the fundamental needs for survival and comfort, the primal urges that keep our biological machine running. They are the body's language, its way of telling us what it requires to continue its earthly existence, from the simplest need for water to the instinct for self-preservation. The second stream of desire flows from a much deeper place, from our spirit. These are not cravings for physical things, but longings for something more. They are the whispers of our higher nature, urging us toward growth, understanding, and connection. This is the desire to know the truth, to experience beauty, to feel love, and to find our purpose in the grand cosmic scheme. These spiritual cravings pull us upward, toward the light of wisdom and compassion. They are the quiet, persistent voice that reminds us we are more than just flesh and bone. They are the source of our art, our philosophy, and our deepest acts of kindness. The third stream is perhaps the most complex, for it flows from the part of us we call the ego, or the self. This is the part of our consciousness that says I. The ego acts as a bridge between our body and our spirit, and it develops its own unique set of cravings. These desires are born from our personality, our experiences, and our memories. They are the craving for recognition, the desire for a particular food not because of hunger but for its taste, the longing for a specific possession, or the ache of an old resentment. The ego takes the raw needs of the body and the high aspirations of the spirit and personalizes them, creating a unique tapestry of wants that defines who we believe we are. These three streams, the body, the spirit, and the ego, are constantly flowing within us throughout our lives. They mix and mingle, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in conflict. The hunger of the body might be transformed by the ego into a craving for a fancy meal at a specific restaurant. The spirit's desire for connection might be filtered through the ego into a need for social status and admiration. Understanding these distinct sources is the key to understanding what happens when our journey on earth ends. Because while some of these streams will dry up, others will continue to flow, carrying us into the next stage of our existence. When the moment of death arrives, a profound change occurs in the flow of our desires. The physical body, the source of one of our great streams of craving, ceases to be. It can no longer send its signals of hunger, thirst, or pain. Its needs and instincts dissolve along with its form, returning to the elements of the earth. The cravings that were purely biological, the simple drive to keep the body alive and functioning, come to a complete and final end. The machine has been switched off, and its operational demands fall silent forever. This is a great release, a shedding of the most fundamental and demanding of our earthly needs. However, the story does not end there. While the body-based cravings vanish, the desires of the spirit and the ego do not. The spirit's longing for truth, wisdom, and love continues, for these are not tied to the physical form. They are the very essence of our eternal nature, the engine of our cosmic evolution. But it is the cravings of the ego that create the most immediate challenge in the afterlife. These desires, which were so deeply intertwined with our physical life, persist with a powerful momentum. The desire for a cigarette, the longing for the taste of chocolate, the need to be proven right in an old argument, these do not simply disappear with our last breath. These ego-based cravings are what keep us tethered to the world we have just left. They were formed in the physical world. They were satisfied through physical means, and yet they have become part of our non-physical self. Think of a sailor who has spent his entire life on the sea. Even when he is on solid ground, he can still feel the phantom rocking of the ship beneath his feet. In the same way, our spirit, our ego, still feels the phantom cravings of the life it has just led. It has grown accustomed to seeking satisfaction through the body's senses, and it does not immediately know how to stop. This is the central challenge of the soul's initial journey after death. It finds itself in a new state of being, without a physical body, yet it is still filled with desires that require a physical body to be fulfilled. The spirit is free from the body's needs, but the ego is not yet free from its habits. It is like a driver who is still pressing the accelerator even after the car has run out of fuel. The intention, the desire, the habit is still there, even though the mechanism for carrying it out is gone. This creates a state of conflict and longing, a period of transition where the ego must learn to let go of the attachments that no longer serve it. To grasp the power of these lingering desires, let's look at a simple everyday example. Consider the difference between hunger and the desire for a specific tasty food. Hunger is a pure body-based need. It is a signal from our biology that it requires fuel to continue functioning. If you're truly hungry, a simple piece of bread or a bowl of rice will be deeply satisfying. Your body has received what it needs, and the craving of hunger is quieted. This is a desire that is born from the body and ends with the body. It is a straightforward conversation between our physical form and the world around it. Now think about the craving for a slice of rich, decadent chocolate cake. This is usually not about true hunger. You may have just finished a full meal and your body needs no more nourishment, yet the desire for that cake can be incredibly strong. This craving comes from the ego. It is built upon memory, the remembered pleasure of the taste, the texture, and the sweetness. It is a desire for a specific sensory experience, not a need for sustenance. You don't just want food, you want that food. This kind of desire attaches itself to our personality, to our sense of I and what I enjoy. It is a habit of pleasure that has been etched into our consciousness. These ego-based cravings are everywhere in our lives. The desire for the first cup of coffee in the morning, the specific comfort of a favorite chair, the need to check our phone for messages, the urge to win a game not just for the joy of playing, but for the feeling of victory. These are all habits of the ego, desires that have moved beyond simple need and have become part of our identity. We have trained our consciousness to seek out these specific experiences and to feel a sense of satisfaction from them. Over a lifetime, we build a vast and intricate web of these personal cravings. It is precisely these cravings, the ones tied to specific sensory memories and ego-driven habits, that persist after death. The simple biological hunger disappears with the stomach. but the remembered pleasure of the chocolate cake lingers in the consciousness. The body's need for caffeine is gone, but the ego's ritual of the morning coffee remains a powerful, ingrained habit. These desires have become so much a part of our non-physical self that they travel with us. They are the emotional and psychological baggage we carry from one existence to the next, and they form the first great obstacle we must face in our journey beyond. Imagine yourself lost in a vast, scorching desert. The sun beats down relentlessly, and with every passing moment your thirst becomes more and more intense. It is an all-consuming agony. Your entire being is focused on a single, desperate need: water. You can picture it, you can almost taste it, but there is not a single drop to be found. This powerful, painful image gives us a small glimpse into the experience of the soul immediately after death, when it is still burdened by the cravings of its earthly life. The spirit finds itself in a state of intense longing for things it can no longer have. After death, the ego is still filled with these powerful desires for physical sensations. It craves the taste of food, the feeling of a warm embrace, the satisfaction of a physical habit. Yet it no longer has the tools to fulfill these cravings. It has no mouth with which to eat, no hands with which to touch, no body with which to act. The desire is there, burning as brightly as ever, but the means of satisfying it are gone forever. This creates a state of profound and painful frustration. The spirit is trapped in a loop of its own making, constantly reaching for something that is no longer there. This experience is not a punishment handed down by some external judge. It is a natural consequence, a law of the spiritual world that is as real as the law of gravity. We create this state for ourselves through the attachments we form during our time on earth. Every time we indulge a craving not from need but from habit, we strengthen that desire within our ego. We are, in essence, training our soul to want these things. After a lifetime of this training, the soul does not know how to do anything else. It continues to play out the patterns it learned even when the stage and the props of the physical world have been taken away. The intensity of this suffering is directly proportional to the strength of our attachments. A person who lived a simple life, with few intense cravings for physical pleasures, will pass through this state relatively quickly and easily. Their longings are gentle whispers that soon fade. But a person who is dominated by powerful addictions and intense material desires will experience a much more difficult and painful transition. Their cravings are like roaring fires, and the lack of fulfillment is a source of great anguish. This period of unquenched thirst is a necessary, albeit difficult, part of the soul's journey, forcing it to confront the chains it has forged for itself. This state of painful, unfulfilled longing does not last forever. It is actually the beginning of a profound process of cleansing and release. The spiritual world has its own ways of healing, and this period of suffering is, in fact, the first step. This process is sometimes called purification, or passing through a refining fire. Now, this fire is not made of physical flames, but of the spirit's own burning desires. The very pain of the unquenched cravings becomes the force that begins to dissolve them. The soul in its agony is forced to confront the source of its suffering, its own attachments to a world it has left behind. Think of it like a fever. When your body is fighting off an infection, your temperature rises. The heat is uncomfortable, even painful, but it is the body's natural way of destroying the harmful invaders and restoring itself to health. In the same way, the intense heat of unfulfilled desire in the afterlife works to burn away the impurities of the ego. The spirit begins to realize, on a deep and fundamental level, that these earthly cravings are the source of its pain. It recognizes that these chains, which once seemed to offer pleasure, are now holding it back from peace and progress. This purification is a journey of letting go. The soul must consciously and willingly release its grip on each desire that binds it to the physical world. It is a gradual process of unlearning a lifetime of habits, the craving for a specific taste, the need for a material possession, the lingering anger from an old conflict. Each of these must be faced, understood, and released. The spirit comes to see them not as essential parts of itself, but as temporary attachments it acquired during its earthly journey. It learns to separate its true essence from the personality and habits it developed while in a body. This is not a passive experience. The soul must actively participate in its own liberation. It must want to be free, The pain of its craving serves as the motivation, pushing it to seek a state of peace. As each craving is released, a little of the pain subsides. A sense of lightness and freedom begins to emerge. The refining fire does its work, not to punish but to purify. It strips away everything that is not essential, everything that is not of the spirit itself, until only the pure, true essence of the being remains, ready for the next stage of its incredible journey. As the soul purges itself of its earthly cravings, a new and even more profound experience begins. It starts to relive its entire earthly life, but in reverse order. It journeys backward in time, from the moment of death all the way back to its birth. This is not like watching a movie of your life. It is a full, immersive experience. The spirit doesn't just see the events, it lives through them again, feeling every emotion and consequence with a new and heightened awareness. This backward journey is a crucial part of the soul's education, a final, comprehensive lesson drawn from its time on earth. The most significant aspect of this life review is that the soul experiences its actions from the perspective of others. When the spirit relives a moment where it caused someone pain, it doesn't feel its own anger or justification from that time. Instead, it feels the exact pain, sadness, or humiliation that the other person felt. It experiences the full impact of its own deeds. Likewise, when it relives a moment where it brought someone joy or comfort, it is filled with the exact feeling of happiness and gratitude that the other person experienced. This is the ultimate lesson in empathy, where the soul learns the true weight of its actions. This process is the great equalizer. On earth, we can often ignore or rationalize the consequences of our behavior. We can tell ourselves we were right, that the other person deserved it, or we can simply be unaware of the effect we have on those around us. In this backward review, there is no place to hide. The truth of every interaction is laid bare. The soul is both the actor and the audience, the one who caused the effect and the one who now feels it. This experience dissolves the ego's defenses and replaces them with a deep, compassionate understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings. The purpose of this reverse journey is not to inflict more punishment, but to create wisdom. By feeling the results of its own life, the soul gains a profound understanding of the laws of cause and effect, of love and of pain. It learns what it means to be human from every possible angle. This panoramic review completes the purification process, washing away the last remnants of selfish egoism and replacing them with a luminous, compassionate wisdom. The soul has not just let go of its cravings, it has now absorbed the deepest lessons its earthly life had to offer, preparing it for a new and higher state of existence. Once the refining fire has done its work and the backward journey of life is complete, the spirit is finally free. It has shed the heavy cloak of its earthly cravings and absorbed the wisdom of its experiences. It is now pure, light, and untethered from the world of the senses. What it experiences next is a state of being that is honestly difficult to describe in human language. It is a world of pure thought, pure feeling, and pure spirit. The soul is no longer a solitary entity struggling with its own past, but is now ready to join a vast community of other souls. In this new state, the spirit encounters other beings who have also completed their purification. There is a sense of homecoming, of meeting long-lost family. Communication here is not done through words, but through a direct sharing of thoughts and feelings. It is a perfect and instantaneous understanding. The soul can now share the wisdom it has gained from its unique life on earth and in turn can receive the wisdom of countless others. It becomes part of a great symphony of souls, each one contributing its unique note, its unique color, its unique experience to a magnificent, harmonious whole. Here, the spirit finally understands the true purpose of its earthly struggles. It sees that the challenges, the pain, and even the cravings it had to overcome were all part of a grand design. They were the friction that was necessary to polish the jewel of the soul. From this higher perspective, the difficulties of life are not seen as tragedies, but as opportunities for growth. The soul feels an immense sense of gratitude for its time on earth, recognizing it as a precious and indispensable school for learning the lessons of love, empathy, and wisdom. This is a state of incredible creativity and joy. Freed from the limitations of a physical body and the pain of selfish desire, the spirit can now work in harmony with others on a cosmic scale. It contributes to the spiritual evolution of the universe, helping to guide and inspire those who are still on their earthly journey. The fruits of its life, the love it gave, the compassion it learned, the wisdom it gained, have now become a gift to all existence. The individual journey of the ego has been completed, and it has found its true place within the universal family of spirits. So, what is the final lesson from this epic journey of the soul? It is that our life on earth is of immense and eternal importance. It is not just a brief interlude before something else begins. It is the very workshop where our eternal self is forged. The things we choose to desire, the habits we form, and the way we treat others are not temporary concerns. They are the raw materials that we will carry with us into the afterlife. They will determine the nature of our journey, the challenges we will face, and the wisdom we will ultimately gain. This understanding gives us a new way to look at our daily lives. It invites us to become more conscious of our cravings. We can ask ourselves, does this desire come from a true need of my body? Is it a longing from my spirit for something higher? Or is it a habit of my ego, an attachment that might one day become a chain? We don't need to eliminate all earthly pleasures, but we can learn to enjoy them with a sense of freedom and non-attachment. We can savor the chocolate cake without letting the craving for it define a part of our soul. The journey through the afterlife, with its refining fire and its life review, is ultimately a journey back to our true nature. It is a process of stripping away everything we are not so that we can discover what we truly are. We are not our bodies, we are not our possessions, we are not even our personalities or our cravings. We are spiritual beings here on earth to learn the profound lessons of love and empathy. The entire process after death is designed to help us realize this fundamental truth in the deepest way possible. In the end, the greatest treasure we can take from this world is not what we have gathered, but what we have become. The wisdom gained from feeling the effects of our actions, the compassion born from understanding others' pain, and the freedom won by overcoming our selfish desires. These are the true fruits of our earthly life. They are what we carry forward into the symphony of souls. And knowing this can change how we live today. It can inspire us to live more kindly, to desire more wisely, and to remember that every moment is a chance to build the eternal self we are destined to be.